Hello, and welcome to a series I will be calling Through the Glass Onion. So, I wasn't going to post this video the night before I recorded it. I'd stayed up all night, like mindlessly watching Goliath on Amazon and smoking weed. And normally, when I sit alone and smoke weed, I'm like having these great, like, epiphany thoughts, and I'm constantly pausing and jotting things down. Um, and that's awesome. But this was like one of those scenarios where the drug had the complete opposite effect, and I just stayed up all night mindlessly staring at the screen. So the next day I have this like anxious energy to record something. I'm dead tired, but like there's a part of me that's saying you got to get something done. You got to get something done. And that was probably brought on by just staying awake smoking weed all night and not doing anything. So I pull up a Salvador Dali video that I had not watched at all and was going to watch it for the first time on video. So I do that and I proceed to record the most low energy, terrible podcast with all sorts of things happening that just completely threw me off. It was full of ums and uhs and oh my god, what the fucks. I wasn't gonna post it, and then I thought, maybe I'll edit it, even though I don't know anything about editing yet. I told myself I can just like cut it down to 11 minutes, just have whatever might be worth something made to look decent enough to post. An 11-minute video is better than this is I don't even remember, like a 48-minute video. An 11-minute video is better than a 48-minute video for the algorithm, and I do want people to see it. So maybe I will just learn to edit and cut it down into the snaps of whatever would make it look like a coherent video. And in doing that, I felt like two different forces stopping me from putting it out, like it was my own procrastination telling me, "Oh, I can learn editing on this video," knowing full well that I have way too many ideas randomly popping in my head currently, and thankfully to realistically continue going back to older, even 1 day older videos. I saw editing this as me just putting obstacles in my way rather than finding a time or a project better suited learning editing. And then I also felt the force of social media algorithming. Social media. God, I hate this. This is why editing is so great. I felt the force of social media algorithms telling me to, as I see it from time to time, compromise. Compromise on what I want to get out of making my art. Compromise what I want to get out of compromise of making my art for the thought of people seeing it. Like, don't put out the shitty video because you want people to see it. You want people to like it. You don't want to post too much. You don't want to think people you don't want people to think you suck. You don't want to post anything that isn't fire. You don't want people thinking you're delusional. And it's like, for better or worse, it makes me think about not posting. And that's not good. And then I feel like if I don't, I'm being authentic, letting people and profiles online, the algorithm, dictate what art I put out. I start to feel like the perception of what I make is more important than making it in the first place. I feel like a fake, a fraud, a poser, and I don't want the end feeling after the fun to be comparatively worse than whatever good came from making it. Like, I got into art to explore feeling good from something that doesn't inherently have a bad come down. You know what I mean? Like, budge. The people who started the internet are said to have done it to create like another space, another reality. It was meant to connect people, not be the connection between people. When we turned it on, we became its only means of survival. We built it to know us, to be better than us. And I feel like there's only one outcome when you build the dream of that which doesn't. You become the dream. We are the things that bang at the keys when the being isn't in control of its own thoughts. And I really wish we could stop giving this thing nightmares already. I don't know if any of that made sense. I tried reading something that was written down in front of me, and it's impossible. I ended up just having to say half of what was written down and half of what I'm thinking of, and it's just terrible in these videos or something else. And so, anyways, here's one for it and its algorithm, a nice little fever dream to stimulate the surreal, which is kind of a fitting goal for this next video's main attraction, since it is Salvador Dali. Fuck, what a crazy bastard this dude was. Anyways, thank you for watching. Watch the rest of the video, or just watch me mumble through this intro. Either way, peace. I love you. Don't smoke crack. Hello. How are you? This is something that's going to be a little bit different than the normal podcast. I'm going to call this series Through the Glass Onion. In this series, we'll also watch some videos from YouTube, maybe something that I've been sitting on for a little while, or something that I've came across randomly, right before I start this. Like for like a half hour before I pressed record, I was looking through stuff. So last week I recorded this like hour and a half long George Harrison on the Dick Cavett show, one of these, Through the Looking Glass, as we're calling it. And my dumbass didn't hit record. I thought I hit record, but I didn't. And when I was done, I rubbed my face like, oh, I'm so happy that's over. Bomb. It was great. Great. Awesome. Cool. And then I went out and came back in and went to watch the video, and there was no video. The only video that was on there was like a 5-minute video starting with me rubbing my face. So that was that. I'm attempting to do some sound quality control on these as well. So you might, I don't know, it's probably not good of me to say this isn't going to be maybe as entertaining or as straightforward as a podcast. I am going to be mansplaining a little bit of what I see before me, as I see it. So I think, it might be interesting to you, it might not. But either way, we're going to get our sound issues figured out one way or another, and I might as well record it because me talking for long periods of time might as well get some value out of it and record it and try to get better at doing all this anyway. I think it's really trippy that because the light is reflecting off my glasses, it looks like it's just like white going through. I was trying to get that glare out, and I've settled on it looks trippy. So it is what it is. I might turn into a ghost, punk bitch. Anyways, here we go. This is Salvador Dali on the Dick Cavett show. I think I am going to be tapping into a lot of this show. There have been so many insane guests that have appeared on this show from the 70s. Um, Dick himself is quite funny. He's quick-witted. You know, you judge him as you see fit. But either way, I found this show a great source of knowledge on people that I admire: musical artists, actors, directors, everything under the sun of artistry. So let's hit play on this and proceed. Now, I will be pausing from time to time. I think it's easier to get videos through copyright claims when you're making them your own, in a sense, pausing, giving commentary, not just having it on full screen with me as a little tiny thing. What I should have done, now that I'm thinking about it, is I should have put some sort of logo up underneath the image, of me in the program we will be watching. But next time, like I said, these videos, at least at first, are going to be strictly for diagnostics, just trying to iron out, you know, whether it looks terrible the entire time to have my eyes whited out. If I look up, oh no, I don't know. Either way, fuck it. We're going to do it. Listen if you'd like. I'd like you to listen. Let's go.
The revival, the old films today, and there's a great deal of interest in a man who's considered maybe America's first film genius, D.W. Griffith, and a lot of people think he was America's last film genius. They're so crazy about his films. And Lillian Gish has written, she was probably his brightest star, and she has written this book, The Movies, Mr. Griffith and Me. Most enjoyable book. She travels a lot now and lectures to college students and shows pieces from those great films. She's here tonight because of two Griffith Film Festivals in New York, one at the Bijou and Elgin, one at the Elgin Theater.
Pausing it so soon here, but I have not watched this, so I don't know. This lady comes on. Lady talks for a minute. I kind of want to hear what the lady is talking. I kind of want to fucks with the lady and see what she's talking about, because most of these guests are pretty dope. Even like the random people they have on, they're interesting in their own right. So you know what? Maybe this video, I'm just gonna have to start practicing my editing skills and chopping this down. But yeah, let's fuck with the old lady here and see what she has to say.
Lovely lady, Miss Lillian Gish.
Lillian Gish.
Hello.
What's up, baby?
Very nice to see you. Hello.
Just cool. Be somebody's grandmother. Don't talk about her like that.
You're lovelier every time I see you.
Aren't you kind?
And so are you, Mr. Page.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. And again from me. Did you ever get over not working with Mr. Griffith? I get the feeling from the book that those were undoubtedly the happiest times you had in films. Maybe that's not fair to say.
Well, one doesn't get a chance to be part of the creation of a new art form very often in life. I came from the theater to Griffith, as a child.
Yeah.
We were in the theater, Dorothy and I, from the time we were 4 and 5. And when we got to the age of 12, 13, we were at that awkward age, not child, not woman, not girl. And there was no place to get a job, and we went down there and luckily found one and came in at a time when we were good material for Griffith to work with. He needed young faces.
Don't they always need young faces? Isn't that kind of crazy, though, how she's saying she's 14 in between, woman and child, and she's looking for work? That is few and far between, I would imagine, nowadays. Again, these are just my opinion.
Older people, that is, older people of 18, they were characters. They weren't heroines,
And how old were you at that time then?
12 to 13.
Yeah, gee. How was he different from other directors?
Because he created an art form. Yeah. Remember, when he was making films, there was no place to go to find out how to do things. He had to try out different ways and means of telling an audience what the story was, and you had the responsibility of making whatever character you played believable to an audience. You had to be an actress, but you could never be caught acting. The minute you were caught acting.
You couldn't be caught acting. How do you mean that?
Because the minute you started acting, it spoiled the illusion. You had to seem to be whatever character it was in a simple, truthful way, because that lens here and the big screen lens, it's like an X-ray on the human psyche. If you sit in front of it long enough, as Barrymore used to say, it not only tells who your ancestors were, but what you had for breakfast.
Did he treat actors well, Mr. Griffith? Was he one of those directors who thought they were necessary but also dispensable?
Oh, he was like a father.
Well, you were
Mr.
12.
God. Everything. Not only to the actors, to the working people, too. I think I tell in my book, which you showed, and this is the child of that book. It's mother and child, you see, because this is the paperback for only $1.25. That's $8.
Sorry, you're gripping my mic.
A little book, did it?
Made a little bit
Mother
of
and
noise.
child, same book, but a difference in price.
This one's nicer for the coffee table, but that one's more economical.
Yes. And Griffith had these children and inspired them, told them they were working in this wonderful medium that had been predicted in the Bible.
Now, wait a minute.
Yes.
Acting?
Yes.
The movies predicted in the Bible.
Yes.
Of course.
The universal language that was to be instrumental in bringing about the
Well, of course, acting itself had to have been in the Bible. I mean, people had to have plays and things like that. But to think she's saying that movies themselves, film, was biblical somehow. Maybe on the Antichrist side. You know, in watching this, I find myself wanting to make a lot of really dark jokes, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. And I wish maybe wish I was.
millennium, because it would speak to all people and create understanding which would bring about peace. And this was the first thing that had ever been found beyond music, painting, sculpture.
Film is a universal language.
We were to
Love it. Love movies. They're the fucking best.
eventually tell a story to the world without a word, without a subtitle, you see. We were to be understood. He used to say, don't depend upon Western gestures, because you go to the Orient where gestures mean different things. Watch the animals, watch the birds, and see how they convey their wants, their meaning, and imitate them.
This guy was really spitting game to this lady at 12.
Every living thing. For instance, a dog, when it wants something, it expresses that want, or when it's happy, it tells. And you notice, we used to jump up and down. We used to play young and dislike that very much since we were young. We wanted to be quiet and dignified. He'd say, how am I going to get contrast between young and old if you don't jump up and down? Watch a dog when he's happy. He bounces up and down, runs around in circles, and everyone understands what it means. You do the same thing.
And when you're angry, you snap at people. We're going to see a clip in a moment from Orphans of the Storm, I believe. And will you introduce it for us after?
I think that is one thing you lose a lot as you get older, like the inability to control yourself when something good happens. Like as a kid, you bounce off the walls. You're like, oh my God, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me right now. What is happening to me? And then as you get older, like that happens less and less frequently. I wonder if it's just the world, you know, like you've seen, not even in a bad way, like you've literally just seen a lot of things. So like not as much surprises you, or if it's more negative air quotes than that, like you've seen too much, like the world has beaten you down. It's not even that you've seen things. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna continue playing this.
We'll come back from this message. Miss Gish, we're going to see a bit of Orphans of the Storm with you sitting here, which is a strange experience. And your sister's also in this.
Miss Gish.
Yeah. Could you introduce this for us? Tell us what to look for while we're
Well, Orphans of the Storm is taken from the play called The Two Orphans. And it was translated into 40 different languages and successful all over the world as a play. Mr. Griffith didn't want to make it very much, but he wanted to make Faust. And we looked up the record of Faust, and it never made money, and we needed to have a successful film, so he listened to us, and he made The Two Orphans and put it against the French Revolution and called it Orphans of the Storm. And this scene you're about to see is in Paris at that time of the Revolution, and my sister is blind. I have brought her to Paris hoping that there we'll find some answer to her blindness. But on the way, she's seen by
I really wanted
a
to be
French
interested in what this
aristocrat who
old
has her
lady
kidnapped
was talking
when they land in
about.
Paris, and the
God,
blind
she seemed
child
like
is left
it
on
was
the
gonna be
street
so
and
interesting.
almost
She's like the
walks
perfect
into the river and
co-guest to have
drowns. When
with Salvador, though.
she's saved by
She's
some
like
beggars,
a
and they
woman
find that she's blind
of her
and
time,
think, oh,
while
what a
Salvador
good piece of
is a
living
man
this is.
of his
We'll just
time
put her
doing
in
the art
rags and
that
put
he
her on
was
the street.
doing.
And they do.
They
And this
probably
meeting
actually,
is later.
as freaky as Salvador's artwork
When
is, I would imagine
Ariette, the part that
people
I
like the
play,
two of
is
them
on the way
see
to the
each other more
guillotine.
than they didn't. I'm going to rip through this just a little bit. We're not gonna watch the play. Looks like some weird shit's going on.
People I know. Odd is another word that's been applied. But he's a man who once said about himself, the only difference between myself and a madman is that I am not mad. We'll see. Will you welcome, please, Salvador Dali?
Oh my god, he just whipped that thing onto the ground.
How do you do?
That thing is trying to get
Well, I
the
think you've
fuck
caught
away
something.
from him.
I can't help noticing that you have an anteater with you, Mr. Dali. Oh, please.
This little thing, it's frightened.
It isn't. It's a sweet animal. It's an anteater, isn't
Yes,
it?
but Dali no like it child, no like it at all butterfly is, and no like it animals of any kind.
Bro,
Only
I'm being completely honest
You
right
are?
now. I've never watched a Salvador Dali interview. This is the first time I'm seeing this video. I was gonna do John Lennon, watch a John Lennon on Dick Cavett video, and I was like, ooh, Salvador Dali. Like, I've already seen the John Lennon interview. I think it would be cool to watch a video that I haven't seen. So if this dude does some wild ass shit like he already has been, I know I know very little about this motherfucker. I just know that he made some cool art. Let's proceed.
and
Animal abuse
violent
isn't a great way to come in.
Right off.
rhinoceros. Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros. You like the rhinoceros and you
I'm-
like the anteater. Mr. Page, there's an anteater behind you. He came from the Bronx Zoo. He's not your own anteater, is it
Well,
right?
I am the property of 6 in Spain, but it is only for today. For,
Are you somehow inspired by an anteater?
yes, because rhinoceros and it ants is the only 2 animals angelic.
And it's an angelic animal.
Angelic animal.
Look, can we get a look at him? He's really great. I don't mean...
Because
Oh,
the tongue. The tongue is exactly represent the molecular structure of desoxyribonucleic acid.
Oh, I think we all agree on that.
I already don't like
It's hard to
him.
know,
I'm
having you and an anteater here at the
I'm
same
kind
time.
of turned off the
which
whole thing.
to,
I'm thinking I should have picked it down. I'm thinking I
would you
should
like
have
to
picked a
hold him on
different
your
video.
lap so it would be easier to converse?
And also the horn of the more violent animal, the rhinoceros. The curve of one horn of rhinoceros is exactly mathematical, one logarithmic.
I feel like animal abuse is one of those things that, like, yeah, people probably would have said less to you about it back then, but it was never like, I don't know. I could never see it like ever being okay or like the cool thing to do. Holy fuck. Man, I don't know why I'm so thrown off by that. That was just so weird to me. Maybe it's because the first video I'm not ready for the craziness just yet. Maybe it is quite early in the morning. And
Aspiral.
Something about a rhinoceros.
Yes, the logarithmic spiral of the shape of rhinoceros horn.
Mr. Page was telling me that earlier.
He's
I
got
think
the
we just
leash
let
going
the
everywhere,
anteater
too.
walk until he finds an ant.
He's gonna walk until he gets the fuck away from anybody he thinks he's gonna
Mr.
throw him to
Dali,
the
I must
floor.
say that I find your accent a bit difficult. So if you would speak slowly for me, it would be
No,
nice.
because my English is little is the accent of Catalonian language, you know. Is what it means. For instance, Mrs.
Miss Gish.
Miss Gish.
Yes.
Voulez-vous être gentil de dire papillon in good English?
Butterfly. Oh, sorry.
Papillon?
Yes, in English.
Is it butterfly?
You look in Dalinian English. Butterfly. Butterfly.
Watch yourself.
No, represents,
Dude's bugging.
you know, the English language is too foggy and imprecise, and it's necessary
I mean,
to
he looks
more
inject some
feeling.
reality.
Definitely middle aged.
It is
He
foggy
doesn't look
and
super young.
imprecise.
Maybe he's just
English language.
maybe he was a little
I'm
bit.
going to talk to the anteater now for a while.
Well,
Mr. Dali,
why am I trying to put this guy in the box? I don't know.
may I ask you where you get your clothing? I know, do you design your own clothing? I know you design your life in another sense. You've invented an incredible picture, a character.
Fuck yeah, if you're an artist like that,
My
you,
story is
hell yeah, you make your own
only
clothing.
responsible
I know I would.
for my face, mustache, and it is Madame Dali. You
The only thing I probably wouldn't
Beatrice
make,
in my life,
well, that
and
kind
give me
of, never mind.
shoes and
I wouldn't want to make my own
So your
shoes. I
wife
like
designs your outward
other
appearance
people's
from the neck
designs of
down.
shoes.
give me everything.
And you have designed your
But like
mustache, which of
shirts
course
and
has been the
sweaters
object
and
of
shit,
some
I would-
humor over the
I would
years.
No,
definitely
is absolutely of
jackets
the
as they
contrary.
were.
Le moustache
I don't think I
is
would
the
be good at styling
constant
pants now that I'm thinking about it,
tragical
but I mean,
event
I
in
wouldn't
the human
not
face.
want to.
Remember,
The constant tragic element?
tragical element in the human face, all time.
Has anyone...
Charlie Chaplin, Hitler, Dali, is the more violent phenomenon in one face, this awful capillary explosion
Full
of personality.
with the
Has
mustache.
anyone ever been injured by your
Full.
mustache in any way?
Almost
you're talking about the
everybody most of
mustache.
the time.
It's very... it's very stiff looking. Do you apply something to it?
Semen.
In the daytime, put Hungarian watch for remain erected, but in the nighttime, clean my mustache. My mustache is becoming the Zenko and Chinese, completely melancholic and depressing mustache.
So if one were to see you at
In the
night...
day, again, very violent, the Zenko Austrian tradition, you know, Velasquez and all kings of Spain, is tremendous pointed, mystical mustache. In the night, depressing.
So if we were to see you at night,
Well, I
we
think
would
it's
see a
more
drooping
humble
mustache and see a different
not
Dali,
have
in
it
other words. If I had said hello,
facing to the
Dali, when you came
heavens
out,
like
would you have
you're
been
the
offended?
fucking-
It's an old joke,
Like
actually.
I'm
did,
never
like
offended because all time the
king
jokes
fucking shit.
create one tremendous indifference in my life.
But it's cool.
Tragical, and
There's
the
people-
jokes
we
attain
always
a
need
tremendous
people out there to
quantity of
think they're the
vulgarity.
shit.
In any jokes.
Because they're
I
just
never do
chugging
jokes.
along. They're
Do you
not
like
thinking.
jokes?
No, 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 no.
Sometimes
no,
you need
no,
people
no.
out there to not
For
think they're
this
just shit.
choice,
And I don't mean that in
the
a
only
negative way,
intelligent
like,
animals
with a work
is the
connotation,
rhinoceros
like
and
we
the
need
hippo.
fucking mindless drones. I mean,
Because the cats,
independent
the dogs,
thinkers,
is
even if what
the
they're
more
independently
vulgar
thinking is
and
not
catastrophic
what
animal
you would
it
think.
is.
Yeah.
But the animal do shit.
Yeah,
man,
well,
that was just
We,
that was
do you like
threw me
baseball?
off.
Never look one. Only look photograph of the people sit down in the floor catching dust and meditating, but never look in movement. Only look still pictures. And make one painting of this ball surrounded with melancholia. Because for me, create one tremendous melancholic effect. Because everybody's in this position, peace, and in the floor, in the dust.
Melancholy. I was
Melancholy.
speaking about melancholy in the first episode of Too Fool for Cruel. Check it out if you're watching this and haven't already seen that.
Talking with Satchel Paige, Lillian Gish, and Salvador Dali. And I was wondering, Mr. Dali, you've done some very mysterious things, and I don't know if you like to be asked what they mean, but there was an incident once where you appeared for a lecture in Paris at the Sorbonne, and you arrived in a Rolls Royce filled with cauliflowers.
Yes, because
Cauliflower, I believe.
Sorbonne.
The cauliflower represents exactly the same morphological problem of one horn of rhinoceros. Can you look careful one cauliflower? There's plenty of the same pattern of sunflower. And
Right,
you know
it's
Leonardo
a
da
fractal.
Vinci?
The cauliflower is the same pattern as the sunflower.
Exactly, the same pattern is crossing logarithmic spiral.
It's fucking,
And Leonardo
it's
da
like the
Vinci
Fibonacci
discovered
sequence.
for the first time
It's a
this mathematical
geometric
phenomenon
spiraling
in the
outwards
sunflower.
into clusters
And
of
later on,
geometric
Dali
spiraling
discovered
outwards. And you get the
1,000
little
times
heads on the
much
bigger head.
more powerful
Seashells are really
mathematical
fucking sick too,
problem
like the cone
in the
seashells.
cauliflower.
I was
And this is the reason to
allegedly
arrive in
tripping
Sorbonne,
balls one time, and
because
I had a bag of
my
seashells
speech
from
is
a
around
trip I made to
the
Florida and the Keys
cauliflower and the
when I was like
horn
20.
of rhinoceros.
And I was like
Because
looking
it's
at
the
this
same
seashell. I should
Same
pause it. I'm
rhinoceros
looking
that
at
you
this
mentioned earlier.
seashell, and I
Rhinoceronte
was going,
mathematical.
pause, you glass onion. And I'm looking at these seashells, and I'm thinking, oh my god, like all life is from this, and I don't know if had heard of the Fibonacci sequence at that time, but I mean, you see that pattern, especially when you're tripping. You're gonna see a lot of patterns, and patterns that are already there definitely become more visible, for sure, as you may well know. I don't want to fucking watch this anymore. Like I don't. I really don't. And I feel like it's gonna take too long to find a different one, and I'm gonna feel like an asshole, and I'm gonna have to cut this. But this dude is fucking whacked.
pattern.
Do I?
I don't have any
alone in
hanging
finding
Salvador Dali
you somewhat
artwork right now.
difficult to follow
I had
in terms of what your
every once
theories
in a while
are?
I
Do
take
people often
every single piece of
misunderstand you or find
artwork
you hard
other
to
than
follow?
like
This is absolutely
It's
normal.
interesting,
certain
but
things
it's,
down and
working my
because I have
surrealism for 14 years.
piles of
And
art.
today no understand nothing.
I mean,
of
I
my
don't.
work.
I literally
understands your work
even if
today?
I
No.
put it on the
It is
ceilings in
absolutely
here, I have too
legitimate
much
that
art
other
to
people
fill every
also
square inch
no understand.
of this place.
Because if myself no
So
understand, the other
I'll take everything
understand
down
less,
and then
can we?
re-put up.
Is it my imagination, or are you speaking a mixture of
The people
languages?
that have been
No,
in and out
all
of
time is
this
the same.
space
It's
But if you
throughout
say
the
a word of
years
Spanish, a
have
word of
probably all know a
with,
different version
injection of Catalonian
of it,
accent.
which is
Cat-
I don't know, it's pretty
Catalan.
cool. It's about it's like a
Catalonian
living,
accent.
living
Costa
space.
Brava
Yes.
accent.
It sucks
Yes,
to not
that
be
clears
here
that
as
up
much
too.
anymore.
Ms. Gish has a question.
I hope it's not an impudent one, Monsieur Dali, but have you, from the beginning of your work, your great craftsmanship in painting, a message to give to the people that we perhaps don't understand?
No message.
No
in the
message.
book, no message.
Smart.
Could you invent one?
Not everybody explains the
Impossible.
message.
I'm against any kind of message.
You are.
Against.
Your paintings
just
have a
make
very
the art,
dreamlike
man.
quality, and I do find them fascinating. I'd like to look at.
Just make the art. It'll have a
dream,
message.
because,
It'll, like,
it's never dream.
that was one of the
it's
things I was
it.
saying with the George Harrison video. With the Beatles, everybody likes to. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? And like, obviously, it's gonna mean something different to every person, and then that what they feel definitely can be influenced by people telling them what they feel or what they've heard other people's feel about it. And I'm going to lift this very full cup of coffee in a red Solo cup over my mixer to my mouth, breaking your fucking minds with how delicious that sip was. Anyways, what does it mean? What does it mean? It's like maybe it did have a meaning. Maybe that meaning was fairly easy to figure out. It's not up to the artist to explain it. It makes the art mean less when the artist explains it. You're now taking a observer's ability to imagine or place memories to a piece of art. You're taking that away. You're saying this is what it is. This is what you should think. Piss off when you're done. And I I feel like so much art that I see gives me that feeling like, okay, I know what this is about. Maybe that's just my short-sightedness, but I feel like I see it a lot of the time. I know what it's about. Obviously, granted, there's plenty of sick artists out there with mind-blowing shit. I'll see it, move on. Nobody's explaining it to me. You know, it's being left up to my interpretation, which is enjoyable. I do like pieces to be titled. I mean, I think that's a cool little like backdoor into a second explanation like theory that the person can have. So I don't disagree obviously with titles or like labeling, you know, that. The reason I'm even talking about this is there's a song right now on the radio. It's like Lil Wayne and somebody else, and the whole song is about lean syrup, cough medicine with codeine. The entire song is about it. There is no like no hiding anything in the song. There's no hidden message. Like they they use slang and then explain the slang in the song, essentially. Like, dude, we know that artists use drugs. We know that which artists specifically use which drugs a lot of the time. To make something so on the nose is just like, come on, what are we doing? These are world famous artists with an audience that's captivated half the time they do anything. Treat us with a little more respect and like integrity of figuring it out or figuring something out for ourselves in it. You're not getting anything out of that song other this song's about fucking promethazine.
Hypnagogical image.
Hypnagogical image.
Before.
What is that?
It's 10 minutes before sleep. The 10 minutes or 15 minutes before you fall sleeping appear in some genius, Dali, some kind of very vivid, irrational, images. And myself catch this image and then with the more careful photographic style. And no message and no explanation.
Images.
Sometimes after 20 years, some
images for
scientific
your
people tell
pictures.
this perhaps means this or this, but every of these Dalian images remain in one complete mystery.
Bougie, bougie. I just wanted to do that. I don't know why.
Get him, Dick.
Came over me.
Fuck yeah. He's
I'm
spotting
sorry.
a fraud before this stereotype was invented.
I don't know what you affect me in a peculiar way, and
Like I want to say,
But you know, Dali is one tremendous power for
tremendous.
I don't think anyone will like you about that.
Listen to it.
Maybe
Tremendous.
it's your graphics now. They're going to be on display.
It's very pleasing.
Because they are quite remarkable, as you know, if you've seen his work.
His paintings
There,
are so
can you see that
fucking
one?
sick, though.
That
Yes,
is-
this is one rose.
That's the surrealistic flower girl, according to
you know
the
Gertrude Stein.
Gertrude
One
Stein.
Damn.
rose is one rose, is one rose, is one rose, is one rose, is one rose.
Gertrude Stein stopped earlier, but yes, yeah. And that's
Gertrude got
surrealistic
the
flower
fuck
girl.
out of there.
Yeah,
She's
it's
not
very
even there
uncommon
anymore.
Because, in Paris,
Damn, Gertrude's
some
like,
people create one Dalinian rose. And it's
Audi,
this-
bro.
this
Audi
one.
5000.
So last creation in flowers in Paris.
Next.
This
Oh, it seems to be two
no,
people. Oh, that's
no,
nice.
no, and me, and-
dope.
And that is the
very good, very good.
surrealistic king. In almost every... Oh, go ahead.
No move, because this is very important. You know, Dali is tremendous monarchic.
Tremendous.
Catholic,
so important.
monarchic, and very soon Spain becoming one kingdom. After Generalissimo Franco is already agreed, the Prince Juan Carlos becoming the king of Spain. And this is no message, but this is the vision of Spain in the moment of becoming one kingdom.
Spain becoming one kingdom.
Spain
Eye
becoming
of
one kingdom.
Surrealist Time is the next title. I've noticed that there's 2 out of 5 of your...
I probably just fucked with your head with that volume change so bad, and I apologize for that.
And why? What about it flies?
Still figuring out the mixer.
Of time, because this appeared one night at 11 o'clock, look through the window and appear one tremendous, gigantic A with the hours, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and copy this.
Yeah. What was the name of the film in which a razor was drawn across an eye?
Yes, this probably is one personal question between time and Dali. Because in my, between time and Dali, because in my first Le Chien Andalou movie, start the movie cutting the A of one beautiful girl. You remember, cut with
Yes,
one,
no one's seen that.
one
Can never
razor.
forget it. A razor blade is drawn across an eyeball, and it's very... is there anything people have failed to understand about the meaning of that?
Probably is, I'm not like it blind people, Not like it.
Subconsciously.
Exactly. But this is Dali.
Is that
dressed in one surrealist manner with bosoms, like one girl.
Like, I'm not
Because,
saying this painting's bad, but
Dali
the
is very
razor blade
young.
across the eye?
Dali love becoming one girl.
The
And like it,
fuck?
bosoms, and not like it to masculine sex, and make one sex of girl for the same price.
No, I don't understand that. It was a self-portrait of you with female breasts, if I'm not right. Yeah.
No, this is
Exactly.
one soft watch enveloping the thing camembert cheese. Because
This
I
dude's
like it foot
tripping.
camembert and like it for the same time foot watches.
What is a typical
Time.
What is a typical lunch for you?
The best in Paris is start with ortolans, little beers, it's possible swallow everything. And second, fresh de bois pour finish. I start by écrevisse. All animals with faces. No like it a steak because there is no faces in one steak.
You won't eat a steak because
like
it has no face?
Like a food, something with nose, ears, and complete. Nose, you food anonymous animals. Like it little beers, grow fish, everything possess mustaches, ears, and
So he's saying fish has eyes and stuff.
Quite so.
That's a complete. Is that what he's saying?
After this message from our local stations, we'll be right back.
He will eat fish because it has eyes, or he won't? Will he not?
Sorry to rush, but we have only a couple of moments left, and
It's hard.
I do admire you in your work, and I would like to know if you would give me an autograph.
very easy, but
Would you? No. I had something larger in mind. Something like maybe this size.
Oh, he talks to
And,
the woman for the rest of the show.
I've never asked a guest for an autograph on the air before, but I thought it might be interesting
Weird.
to see if you do it in the ordinary
100%
way.
not watching this whole episode. I watched the whole George Harrison interview. That was
You're
sick.
sore about bougie, aren't you?
I say we as if I
You seem to be
assumed
drawing a
there would be
crown.
an audience
Is
for
that a
this
crown?
wildly all over the place.
And
this is drops of
You really love me if you're still watching this. Okay,
it isn't. It's a sweet animal.
Whoa,
It's
hold
an
on.
anteater, isn't
Yes,
it?
but Dali
Anteater's
no
back
like
again.
it.
Okay. Let me just say, if you're still watching this, you either think this kid's fucking ridiculous, I'm gonna laugh at him, or you love me and you just love watching me. And I feel like I shouldn't be saying this right now, and I'm ruining the video by saying it. But thank you. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much.
Child no like
This
at
crazy
all.
motherfucker has got me wanting to thank the people in my life that care, that care about me. This fucking dude has got me thanking my lucky stars.
Butterfly is no like it animals of any kind.
Did
Only
this just restart?
You only.
ants and violent rhinoceros.
Right off.
Dude, a violent rhinoceros. At this point, I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna end this video here. I don't know if I'm gonna post it. If I do post it, then you'll see it. I'm gonna record another one right after this. I'm gonna find a different video. I just don't want to bore you with the whole process of finding another video. And fuck. I'm gonna have to edit this in order to not have this whole thing be wasted, because there's so much dead air time. It's so quiet. Like I hear me in the headphones, and if I'm not talking, it's just so fucking quiet. I don't know. Doing these by myself is gonna be hard. I know that for a fact. Doing the solo ones without like a live chat. See, doing it live is whatever, because then you accumulate people that are watching you do it, so they're interacting with you. Doing just off the not having someone else in the room, even just straight up like dolo in this is quite difficult. So back to before, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you for watching it, and I hope you don't let this spoil. Keep watching. I'll get better. We'll get better. We'll throw in some editing. Maybe I won't be. I don't want to call it lazy, but fearful of getting into the editing process. I don't know. I almost like it raw like this, and not having it edited, and keeping these parts where I'm like, I don't know what to talk about in here, because it's authentic. It might not be the best thing to watch, but it is true to you, the viewer. And the comment section, I guess, until we figure out a streaming situation. I don't know. But I love you. Thank you for watching so much. You're great. The world is great. Fill it with love and make sure to at least try to, poop at least once a day. If you're not pooping at least once every 2 days, something's going on. All right? Love you. Bye.